Rewst Flow 2025, Rewst's second event here in Tampa, Florida. A great event, all about the community. It's a nonprofit event. They don't make any money. They put it all back in, and it was well attended. It's all about automation, using the Rewst platform to help MSPs, help small to medium-sized businesses. I was able to have 11 great conversations. My first time at this event. I've been told I'm going to be invited to all the rest of them. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great community, great group of vendors, great leadership there at Rewst, and the vendors were terrific as well. I started the whole, all of my conversations with the CEO, with Aharon Chernin, and I've had the pleasure of talking to Aharon in the past, and a great leader. From Ducati rides to MSP revolution is the title of this discussion. He loves motorcycles. Why? Why would you think he loves them, by the way? I wonder if you'll be shocked by his answer. But Aharon is all for the community, all for this platform. Really great conversation. John Snyder, an MSP, a great light. John came up to me full of energy. Can we talk? It was a great conversation. From potter to partner. Told me he was a potter. Didn't know what that meant. Mendy Green, MSP geek. Known MSP geek for a while. I didn't know Mendy before this. Certainly seen him around. Very interesting. The kind of engineer that would take things apart just to understand them. And my goodness, he loves to work. But great conversation with Mendy and how he's dedicated to the community, to the MSP community. Frank Marino, from rugby fields to fire pits, well-rounded individual, another gentleman who came up to me, another MSP, has an interesting backstory, great conversation with Frank. I hope to work more with him. It's just a great smile and great presence and a lot of knowledge there. Vera Tucci, an Italian. Her and her husband have a great MSP there in northern Italy near Bologna. Tea consulting. Of course, my father's from southern Italy, but culture, communication, and cyber. We just talk about how MSPs work there in Italy and southern Europe, how it's different here. It's not really that different. But Vera gave a great presentation there at Rewst, and it was really, really well accepted. Carl Bickmore. I've known Carl for 20 years. Him and his partner, Sean Brown at SnapTech, a great MSP. They're a platform. They're bringing more MSPs on, but they branched off and made an automation company that focuses that their platform is Rewst, called Raven. Carl loves guitars and singing and a musician. And we talk about the difference between art and science with Carl. Adam Myers, fascinating discussion with Adam. He's an MSP there in New York. Tech tickets and tile games. Very interesting, his perspective on how to solve problems and what he does there in that MSP in New York. Becky Teal, known Becky for 12 years when she was at the peer group HTG. She heads up community now at Huntress. A hobby hopper, from hobby hopper to community builder. Really enjoyed talking to Becky. I always do. Hyla Strauss Stanton from Acronis. First time meeting Hyla, very interesting woman, interesting past, moved all through the country from Miami to Phoenix, gone from the hot wet to the hot dry, but how she looks at community, how she helps MSPs, great conversation. Mark McDowell, great conversation. I got to know Mark at one of the get-togethers. We were talking for a while, begged him to come on to the podcast, and he did. Leading with facts, living with purpose. He's at an MSP outside of Orlando. He is now. Great conversation with Mark. And the last conversation with Joe Panettiere, MSP legend, the other Joe P. There's been many times where people would confuse us, same initials, same first name, same, from the Northeast, Italian. I remember one party, 10 years ago, we went where we actually swapped badges just to fool people. But great conversation with Joe Panettiere, our 700th episode. Joysticks, journalism, and the joy of truth. Love being at Rewst, Flow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others.
Yeah. Tell me what it's like. What pleasure do you get from riding a Ducati motorcycle?
So I use so much of my mental focus and capacity trying to stay alive that it forces me to forget.
Interesting.
And it's the only way to turn off. And it's the exact opposite of me, say, 20 years ago. I want to turn off. I just wanted to lounge around, by a pool somewhere or by a body of water. But I found that I still could think about work. And so it was impossible to turn off.
So what made the switch, Aaron?
My son. So my son's 15 now, and he's floating around the conference somewhere.
Yes, I've seen you with him.
He was born with a very severe heart defect. And so I saw this kid that could die at any second, and he looked perfectly fine.
Yes, he does.
And it really made me realize that, we could all die at any second. And here I am working a corporate job in financial services with always having entrepreneurial aspirations, and then coming to realization that I just have to try it. Because you never know when the end is, right? And so it made me try it, and at that time, everything in my brain changed all at the same time.
Wow. And why Ducati motorcycles?
So if someone's a motorcycle enthusiast, they'll get this. I don't have a lot of free time, and I used to ride cruisers. And but let's say I only get to ride a couple hours per week. So what I found was I was getting all the negatives of a cruiser and none of the benefits. Right? The benefits are long range, comfortable ride, smooth. The wind doesn't blow you around. But the negatives are it doesn't turn, it doesn't handle well, it's heavy. And so if you're only riding for a couple hours per week, you don't get any of those benefits. So smaller, more agile motorcycles became more apparent to me.
And how did you discover that this makes you focus? It takes you kind of off the grid.
It was an accident. Motorcycles annoyed me.
Yeah.
Before I started riding them. My dad has been riding motorcycles for many years. It was always something that just my dad did. And I decided, you know what? For his birthday, I'll surprise him and we'll go on a ride together. And so I didn't even think I was going to like it. And I went and took my motorcycle training class. And during the training class, I was like, this is hard.
Wow.
And then once I realized it's hard, I'm like, I want to learn more. I want to do it more.
The problem in it is, Aaron, is that the other vehicles on the road don't see you well, right? The accidents that I see generally aren't the motorcyclist issue.
It's still the motorcyclist's fault. It's our job to have situational awareness and see all these cars and assume that they're trying to kill us.
Wow.
If we assume that car is going to stop at the light, or that car is going to stop at the stop sign, or it's not going to merge in our lane, that's when bad things happen. So we just automatically assume they're all going to kill us, and then we stay alive.
So this heightens your awareness and everything that you're doing, helping you get off the grid and focus on one thing.
Yep, just trying to stay alive. It makes me forget about business.
Wow. And how often do you get out?
A couple hours a week. Like there may be a Saturday where I get out 6 hours in a row, and there may be a Saturday where it's just an hour.
Wow. Very, very cool. It's nice to have those outlets, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're here at Rewst Flow 2.0, your second great event here in Tampa. It's a tremendous pouring. There's so many people here. What are your goals this week, Aaron?
People that report to me all have their like very specific goals, but my goal was just to bring the community together. We've taken a very community-first approach. I've coined it community-led growth instead of product-led growth. And we knew we had to do this from the very get-go because it was such a new tech, with so much to learn, that unless these people were talking to each other, sharing their tips, sharing what they're doing, that no one would believe that it could be done.
Wow.
And so my main goal is to simply bring the community together and build those bonds, because all year long they just communicate in our Discord servers. This is their chance to like hang out together.
Nothing replaces the face-to-face connection.
Yeah.
And you've told me that, and you announced on stage this morning, you don't make any money on this event.
No. And think about, there are some nonprofit conferences out here, so I'm not saying this is the only one, but when it comes to like a vendor sponsored conference, like I can't think of any of the vendor ones that don't count on the revenue. I would rather build software to make money than run conferences to make money, right? This is just to bring the community together.
Why should MSPs and just businesses in general automate?
There's a defensive thought process and then an offensive thought process, right? The defensive is all your competitors are doing it,
right? And
they're not going to, your potential prospects and saying we're automated. They're going to them and saying, what's the SLAs around service delivery for these things from your current service provider? It's actually easier for an automated MSP to pick off customers from a manual one than it is for them to take a customer that doesn't have an MSP today at all. And so there's that defensive play, and then there's the offensive play of being seen as an innovator in this space, and using it as a differentiator when you go to these clients. And then there's also the chance that you could potentially offer automation as a service. Once you build up the brain trust within your MSP to be able to automate yourself, you can then leverage that brain trust that was saving you time to then not just saving time, but potentially making money by reselling automation services.
What is it about the MSP community that attracts you so much?
There's a bunch of little things. Like I came from the enterprise.
Right.
I was a customer buying enterprise solutions. I was my first startup, we initially started with enterprise before we pivoted to MSP. And one of the reasons why I like MSP over enterprise is MSPs buy things based on value. Like they're very similar to like a normal consumer, where enterprises don't necessarily buy things based on value. I feel like value may be in the top 5 reasons why an enterprise buys things. And enterprise buys things because of, for example, compliance. Like an auditor or regulator said, hey, you need to buy this. Like they don't even want it. The only reason they're buying it is because the regulator told them that they needed to go buy it. So they're just going to pick one and go, right? And then they also buy things based on relationships from management and the company they're buying the product from. So if it has nothing to do with the value of the product. It's all relationships. The MSP, if the product works and it provides some value, they buy it.
They get it. Where does automation and artificial intelligence meet?
Just like my talk, it's the easiest way to understand it is like a physical robot, but instead of a physical robot, it's a software one.
I like that analogy, yeah.
And you can program that. You can have people program that software robot, or you can have AI program that software robot. So it's simply AI is a method of automatically telling the software robot what to do. What people don't understand is that AI doesn't have a robot body by its own. Go on ChatGPT, go on Gemini, ask them to open a ConnectWise managed ticket for you. They're going to respond with something like, I don't have access to your ConnectWise manage, but I can tell you how to do it. Right? They don't have a robot body.
Very interesting. And you made a point up there saying that you kind of define stages of where the platform is now and where you want to move it to. Did you create those stages?
Yeah, it's one of my maturity models. I tend to do a new maturity model about a different topic every year. And this, like last year, it was about an MSP's maturity around how automated they are. And what got me to do that model last year is, we went from level 0 to 4, right? Just like with what I showed today. And what made me realize I needed to do the model was I noticed this weird disconnect between the first two phases, like level 0 and level 1, were actually the most difficult one to do. Once you got to level 1, it was easier to get to level 4.
Wow.
So from 1 to 4, that was easy. From 0 to 1, that was hard. And I noticed that it was because the leadership and the techs thought they were already automated. And so if you take a manual MSP who thinks they're fully automated and tell them they need to automate now, of course they're not going to get to a level 1, right? And then let's say they kind of want to get to a level 1 in automation, but not fully committed. It'll actually make them angry because you've got like the CEO sitting around thinking, I'm already automated. Why do I have these engineers working to automate me now? And so it kind of even like makes them angry. But by the time level 1 comes around, that same CEO who is mad is like completely embracing it, realizes it's a future. And there's a number of defensive and offensive plays they can do once they start doing it.
So when you have these events and you get to see and talk to MSPs, has there been anything recently that you changed your mind on, given the conversation with the MSPs?
I'm always changing my mind.
Are you?
Regardless if it's an MSP. Like I feel like one of the anti-patterns that I see in the corporate world is someone makes a decision and then they die on the vine.
Stick to it. Yeah.
I am the complete opposite. Like now, I'm not changing my mind based on a whim, but I'll start collecting data, and then realize, oh crap, I made the wrong call. I don't remember this week. It's been already a whirlwind, but I'm sure I changed my mind about something.
Yeah. It must be so rewarding, though, Aaron, when you get to talk to these MSPs. They come here, they want to learn more. It's your complete platform that you built. I mean, that must be really rewarding.
It's very invigorating. As the CEO, I get all the problems.
Right.
And so this is my chance to get out of the office and get all the wins because I just keep getting approached by MSP after MSP telling me about the crazy things they're doing with Rewst. And it's amazing and invigorating.
So cool. So I started my MSP back in the 90s, was working way too hard, 14, 16-hour days. You're no stranger to this, Aaron. And Next thing I know, I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. I had gained a crazy amount of weight. I was in my 20s. Didn't even realize it. She says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. Scared the life out of me, right? You have a son, you understand, that changes perspective on everything. Spent the next 6-7 months, lost 120 pounds, kept it off. These are lifelong changes. You can't look at it as a finishing line, right? And so when I tell people this, they say, what's your secret, what you do? And I say, there's no secret, discipline. That's how I did. That's how I kept it off. I believe it's a spectrum. I use focus, willpower, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life?
I totally at the gym a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't go to the gym to look better.
Right.
I go to the gym just to stay alive.
To get healthier, yeah.
And I've done some crazy things. Like there was a 5-year stint a couple years ago where I was boxing.
Good for you.
I was boxing 4 times a week.
Wow.
I find that cardio or activities like that kind of reboot my brain, but it's got to be very intense.
Right.
Like I've got to take it to the edge of consciousness.
Whoa.
And then once I do that, like my brain kind of reboots and I can think clearly again. I also keep a lot of lists, and then I've also Carrie Ann, my EA, I call her my brain.
Wow.
And she, because I'm getting pulled in so many directions, she kind of keeps me in line, tells me where to go next, what should I be doing. And I don't think I'd be able to get anything really done without my EA. And what's crazy is, initially, I didn't want one. Like, my board was pushing on me to get one, and I'm like, I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough work for them to do. It wasn't that I didn't want one. I just afraid they would be unhappy with the little bit of work they have to do. She is so busy.
Wow.
Trying to remember and point me in the right direction on the daily.
So you were in the enterprise. This is your second endeavor. I remember talking to you when you had Perch. Like, what does discipline play a role in these startups? I mean, how do you break free and create a startup like this and have the drive and determination to do these things, Aaron? It's a big lift.
Well, like, first off, it's like you don't want any regrets. You're going to, at some point, everyone's going to find themselves too sick or too elderly to do things, right? And the last thing you want to do is find yourself too sick and then say, damn, I should have tried to start that company, or I should have tried to be an entrepreneur. And like, when you think that way, it's okay to fail, because at least you tried. Like, you're not going to have a regret. You tried and you failed, and then you went and did something else. After my first startup, I was like broken. I couldn't be an employee. I was too used to just creating. And so it was easy for me to go, hey, I got to go do this again. What I didn't realize or remember was how hard it is to start a company from zero. Like, there was some level of realization, but the only way I could think of it is, women tend to forget childbirth. And it's very similar to giving birth to a new company. It's so painful. Like, and it all, comes flooding back in the first 6 to 12 months on creating it, when you're making these decisions and you're, annoyed that you're having to make these decisions, and then you're going to your first conference or two, and it's just you.
Wow.
It's just you as a CEO pulling in the booth, assembling the booth by yourself, yelling at people because the conference is so loud. Like, every conversation you have is like on the top of your voice, and at the end of the day, you're all hoarse. And then add in being an introvert on top of that. exhausting. I would say it's less, what was the term you used?
Discipline?
Discipline, and it's more just drive and drive to, experience living while I can live. And while starting a business is hard, you're still experiencing something new every day, and you're picking up a new story every day, and things that you can think back on when you can't do this stuff.
What motivates you, Aaron?
Living. Living, I would say living first, making MSPs happy second. Like, I really love it when they're smiling and they're excited about something they built or something they're doing. It's just like, I did a cybersecurity company before this.
Yes.
And we made folks happy. Like, every now and then we'd find an incident or something, and it would be life-changing for the MSP to be able to stop that and report that to their client early on. But new automations are being created at a much more rapid rate than incidents are occurring. For example, any given hour on the Rewst platform, 100 new automations are made by our customers. And each one of those, I'm sure, brought some level of a smile, or else they would have never have clicked save on that workflow.
So given your motivation of living, I assume that you mean living, you mean legacy, you talked about your family, and of course impact with MSPs. How do you measure success?
I would say success will be a lasting change of automation in the MSP space. It's just like, even with or without Rewst, like, if the automation automation with AI or automation alone is something that every MSP adopts, that's because Rewst. That's because of Rewst. We made it the forefront of something MSPs think about now. Specifically, like, when I started Rewst, I had a small peer group of MSPs that I asked, do you want an automation platform? And most of them said, no, we're already automated. I'm a crazy person to have started this company. And so by revisiting the automation topic and getting MSPs to truly automate, hopefully that's the lasting success of Rewst.
Well, this is an incredible event. You've done incredible things. You've got a wonderful team. I'm working with your team. Of course, I've known Charlie for many years. I thank you for having me here, and thank you for your time today, Aaron. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Great time. Thank you.
It's nice seeing you.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.